The Face It Together Center has opened its doors to help those fighting addiction.
Executive Director Christy Ulrich joins us this morning to talk about how they're removing the shame and stigma from addiction. Good morning, Christy. Thanks so much. Obviously, pretty big times for you recently with the opening of your new center. When did that happen?
The grand opening was on September 20th.
And you guys, you said you've had a lot of people showing interest. So talk about what makes you guys different from other people in the community.
We've more than tripled our engagement, which is really exciting since we opened up our doors. What makes us different is we talk about wellness. We really want to normalize the disease of addiction and remove that shame and stigma.
What is some of the shame and the stigmas that come around someone who is suffering from addiction, or maybe a family member who knows that their loved one is?
Well, in the past, people don't want to talk about it. It's very shameful, or they have felt very isolated. If we had cancer, we would tell our coworkers and everybody would rally around you. But if you have addiction, we tend not to talk about it because we're ashamed, and we really need to change that because it is a chronic disease, and let's figure a way out to talk about it openly. You know, if I'm suffering from addiction, I can go to work and say, you guys, you know, I'm really struggling here, I need some help. And then as coworkers, you guys could rally around, make meals for them. I mean, it's a tough time for them.
What are some of the biggest support challenges that you find that people who are facing addiction run into?
A lot of times, 70% of those that suffer from addiction are working, so they're fearful that they're going to lose their job. And so that's where Face It Together, we have the opportunity to do one-on-one peer recovery coaching. And so they can do that. They can do it after work because we're open each night until 7, Tuesday through Thursday. They can do it on a Saturday morning, and they can still have a productive work day, but they are getting help at the same time.
And I think what's interesting is your center is a place where you're trying to put that positivity into it as well. Of when you're stepping through the doors, you're taking that first step towards becoming, you know, the person that you see yourself being.
Correct. And a lot of times in the past, people have thought of going into recovery as a dark basement, put your head down and not having anybody to see you. Well, our recovery center is in a very bold location here in Fargo. It's across from Shields in the Prairie Stone Center, and it's bright and airy, very modern. When you walk through that door, you automatically feel well.
Are there some things some stigmas with addiction that you guys are kind of trying to overcome and break down those boundaries?
The biggest one is to normalize it, but to know that you haven't made poor choices, that it is a chronic disease.
Mm-hmm. And too, I loved that we've mentioned this before, but when they're coming in for help, they're actually getting to sit down and talking with other people who've gone through the exact same thing they are going through currently.
Right. Even if someone calls in, our director of First Impressions, Gail, she's been in recovery herself for 23 years. So when someone calls in and is struggling, she can say, I know exactly where you've been, I've been there myself, and together we can get you well.
Yeah.
You talked when we were getting ready for this that there are some words that you guys don't like to use anymore, and I think we have a graphic that we can show. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Some of it is we don't want to talk about an addict or somebody fell off the wagon or they're clean and sober. Let's talk about wellness, recovery, someone perhaps who has relapsed into the disease. So a lot of different things, more on the positive side rather than always the negative.
And you said too that you guys have those proof, the results right there for people to see. You are getting better no matter if you're still having really hard struggling days.
Right. We do the measures of the Recovery Capital Index. With that, we have that baseline when you first walk through, and no matter where that number is, when you reassess yourself after 30 days, 60 and 90, and that number's going up, you know that you're getting better. So it's a measurable result rather than just wondering, yes, I still had a drink last week, or it's only been a few days since I haven't used, but perhaps they're seeing those numbers go up, so we're measuring social and economic wellness, and how are those things being affected.
And Carrie, quickly, how do people get a hold of you?
Your
center, yeah.
Yes, our website is faceitfargomoorhead.org or 566-5631.
All right, thanks for joining us. Don't forget that you can reach out to them to get help, and we'll be back with more on North Dakota Today.